Hey folks, what's going on? Coach Gav here, training for Warriors Kildare. So back here with another little bit of kind of an excerpt from the book, Fuck It. And the section I landed on yesterday was about, just let me find the exact title, Say Fuck It to Parenting, which, given that I'm a parent, is a very useful section to be reading at the moment. Now, I'm not going to read the whole thing because, to be fair, it's one of the longer sections. It is just over 10 pages long. But as I was reading it, I was really excited to finish it and then to get the video out there because it's such a huge thing, and it's kind of one of the main thoughts of it was you can control kids as much as you can control your own life. In other words, you can't very easily. So a lot of times I'm in an extremely fortunate position where I've grown up with great examples of parenting skills from my mum, my granddad, and also my brothers and sisters who have had kids before me. And I'm also in an extremely fortunate situation where I have my daughter Freya, her mum Vanessa, that by and large we get on really well as a good team. So, and we're kind of on the same page, and that's a huge help there as well. Where again, I was 25 when Freya was born, so that would have made Vanessa 2021, somewhere in that region. So we were reasonably young as parents, and Freya is the firstborn for both of us. So to be fair, we had a grand total of 0 experience when it came to being parents. And of course, kind of friends and family who have kids, meaning nothing but goodness, giving advice and opinions on what to do and how to do things. But as time went on, it became very important and somewhat vital that myself and Vanessa, that we established our own style of parenting, where we picked and chose our battles when it came to what we did and didn't correct Freya on. And it's something that we still work on now to this day. And as she gets older, we face these new things that we have to pick and choose our battles on. And as I was reading the section in the book, it was interesting because it was kind of just a real kind of loose concept, or a loose review of it, was basically just saying how, just let kids be, and kind of just let them, if they're running wild, let them run wild and they'll tire themselves out. And if they're having a strop, just ignore them and let the strop kind of wear off, and then it'll come to a natural end. And then they'll start to build up this concept that when I throw my strop, nothing happens, so I'm just not going to throw it anymore. And to a point, I agree with that concept. It's something I think that, I do pick and choose my battles when it comes to correcting Freya. She doesn't run wild, and she doesn't have free reign at a house, or either house, mine or Vanessa's. And she certainly doesn't dictate what goes on. At the end of the day, if we need to go somewhere, we need to go. But you do kind of barter, because at the end of the day, you can kind of, you need to just kind of negotiate as you go along. And don't get me wrong, look, if she's being bold, she's being bold. And kind of, I suppose, bold is defined differently. What we would consider bold and someone else might not consider bold then as well. But so again, the parenting style is very fluid. And I'm sure people who have, again, so I have 4 years of experience as a parent. So someone who has 6 or 8 or 10 or 12 or more will obviously be able to give us a little bit more of insight into it. But at the end of the day, no one has the blueprint. There was no book. I couldn't go to Easton's and pick up a book that said, the parenting guide for Gavin and Vanessa to your firstborn child. Because there is no book on that. Much like for any of you guys that go out there or that are currently expecting kids as well, there's no book out there for your exact situation. There's guidelines, and there's the recommended stuff, and there's these things you would do. But at the end of the day, you need to kind of go and just kind of establish your own way of doing things. And that's hugely important as well. So that's kind of, the book was saying, just say, fuck it, establish your own style and kind of see where it goes. And as well, and I think as society as a whole, it has appeared, a lot of kind of homeschooling has seemingly become quite more popular. And different things like that then as well. It was interesting because, they spoke about different things where, how the fear of parenting, where automatically we become afraid of, I'm just trying to find a section here, how automatically there was a fear with parenting. There's a fear of the child, or there's a fear of upsetting the child. And again, you see it again when you're out and about. I was in a shop the other day, and a child was adamant that they were buying something, and the parent was adamant they weren't, and the child kicked off and 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 kicked off, and then the parent just went like, fuck it, just got the child whatever they wanted, and that was it. Now, to me, that's not how I would have handled it, but that's not to say that how they handled it was wrong, because for them it may have been the exact solution that they needed, and that's perfectly fine. And even in, like, again, I would definitely say this book is one I would say go and grab. I'm considering maybe even getting a couple of dozen copies for the gym here, and people can kind of take a lend them or have a read of them, because it's just, you know, again, it gets you to kind of question your thoughts and question your preconceived notions on things. And the idea of fear was something I could relate to very quickly. And don't get me wrong, for every section of that book that appeals to me, someone could pick it up and go, Gav, that's a complete load of shit. Someone could pick it up and go, you know what, no, I prefer the traditional approach, not just the parenting, to everything as well. And that's fine as well. But to me, that makes sense. So again, and it could be a case you're going, well, okay, kind of, that seems to work for Gav, and we're in a similar position, so maybe we'll give it a try. Because it brings an awful lot of freedom with it then as well. And, you know, it's such a huge thing, and we'll do a separate video talking about fear, but from a parenting point of view, for those of you with newborns or newborns on the way, I remember the first time I was left unsupervised with Freya. When I say unsupervised, I was in the sitting room, Vanessa was in the kitchen, so that was unsupervised. So it was as if like she was gone. So, and I was there and I was holding her, and Freya she was unsettled and she was crying, and I was panicking like shit. I was going, oh my god, what happens if she doesn't cry? What happens if she doesn't settle? What if, you know, she knows, oh, daddy left mommy, daddy's a bad man, daddy's this, and then I start panicking and all this kind of stuff. And in reality, you know, that's just not the truth. In reality, at the age she was only a couple of weeks at this stage, it was only a number of things. Freya was crying, so either she was tired, she was hungry, she needed to be changed, she needed to be burped. And that was it. There was only 4 possible options. It's not as if, like, we didn't have to worry about, oh, maybe her teeth are acting up. She wasn't getting teeth yet. You know, oh, maybe she has a headache, or she's got this. No, it was one of those 4 options. And then, so once you eliminated each option, then you kind of go, okay, you found a solution, problem solved, baby stopped crying, stress levels decreased then as well. And once that fear kind of came away, I remember that moment so well, because it was such a big kind of watershed light bulb moment where you kind of go, okay, I've got this. Because as a 25-year-old man, kind of when you have your firstborn, it was so imperative to have, you know, to be a good father. And, you know, that's the top thing. At the end of my days, that's the thing I want to be able to kind of hang my hat up on. And it's tricky. It's an ongoing process. And, you know, kind of, it's not for me to say if I am a good dad, and Freya will say it, and Vanessa will say it, and kind of any other kids I have, I'm sure will weigh on it. But that's not saying I have kids run around, but that's in the future if I have any more kids. But so for any of you guys and girls out there who are becoming newborn parents who are parents to newborns, you know, it's a stressful enough time as it is, all right? And I'm sure for those of you that are full-time parents who are there every minute with a child, it is even more stressful, because that situation I just explained, it's something you relive probably every 2 or 3 hours. It's just, oh my god, here we go again. What? Again? Already? And you just keep reliving that. And it's tough, and it wears on you, and it grinds on you. So for the guys out there who are fathers to newborns, when you can, do as much as you can. Just do your level best, okay? And this is coming from someone who was effectively a part-time parent, because of the situation we were in, like. So when you have the chance, do as much as you can. But also understand the fact that, like, the mammies are going to want to do the bulk of it, because they trust their gut more than they trust us. So don't get your knickers in a twist, guys. Don't get all worked up and offended by the whole thing. Oh, they don't trust us. Show them that they can trust you. Show them that you will be able to handle it. Show them that if they go for a bath or a shower, the whole house isn't going to burn down, okay? And that you can manage these things. And also show it to yourself, show it to them, and build up the repetition, because, you know, what you do will speak volumes. So if you have a good track record of being able to manage the kids and being able to manage the different things that go on, then it puts the mother at ease, and it allows them to have more confidence in you, which improves the bond between yourselves then as well. And then the other thing I would say is, don't forget that you're not just mommy and daddy. If you're still a couple, you're still a couple, and it's important to nourish that too, to make time for yourselves, and don't just plonk down on the couch at the end of the day when the kid goes to bed. You know, it's just, now I'm not saying you're going for meals the whole time, or you're doing this, you're doing that. You'll find your own way to express that then as well. But as important as it is to nail the parenting side of it, it's just as important to maintain the relationship side of it as well. Because if the relationship between mommy and daddy is fractured or stressed or strained, and again, I cannot stress how much I love being a parent, but at the end of the day, it did add an extra element of stress to the relationship between myself and Vanessa, on top of the other stuff then as well. So just go and put in that work, because when you do it now, it basically builds up good credit. It builds up experience, or builds up your ability to kind of just trust each other a bit more than as well. So don't automatically go and do the Lion King thing where you lift your child and go, na, 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 na. Don't just throw your child up in the air, because having done that on numerous occasions, it gives mothers a heart attack. Wait till your child's a little sturdier and then start doing it. So guys, I know it was a little long here again, but again, for someone who is a parent, I'm sure this 12 minutes of a little bit of a break will give you some respite. Take your time, establish your own system, don't forget each other, and don't assume anything. Don't assume that they know this or they assume that they know that. Go and show them. Show them you're a good parent. Show them you're competent. Don't be afraid if you get things wrong. Okay? When they're small, there's only a limited number of things that can go wrong. And then as they get older, it's just one thing comes on. So as I was saying there, she was either hungry, needed to be changed, tired, or needed to be burped. Then as time went on, you know, her teeth might have been an issue. And then as she went on again, maybe she banged herself off something. So there was only 6 issues. So you eliminate each one of them as you go along, and you find your solution. Guys, if you are starting off on a parenting journey, I wish you nothing but the best. It is absolutely joyful. Don't forget to be in the moment with them then as well. It's my time with my daughter is the time I look forward to the most each week. Enjoy your journey, and for those of you who are already down the road, don't forget to enjoy it too as well. Don't take it for granted. Make the most of it. Best of luck. See you soon, guys. Bye.